So we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter 14, verse number 55. So we studied the prayers of Brahma to Sri Krishna, and after that King Parikshit asked a question that why is that the residents of Braja have more love for Krishna than even in their own children. So Sri Sukadeva Goswami, he spoke 5 slokas to reply that, and he is giving an example of the body that we have love for our own body. Tasmat priyatva tamasvatma sarveshamaki dehinam. That all embodied beings, not only human beings, but animals, birds, aquatics, everybody loves their own body. Bodies are body. So tadarthameva saklam jagat etat characharam. And then only in relationship to our body we love things which are related to the body. And from here now he is going to answer the question in the next verse. So there is one story which I read long ago, which comes to my mind to illustrate this point of body being the object of love. There was a village in India, far from any town or city, and outside the village there was a temple, and one sadhu was living in the temple, and he was educated in Shastra. So he was giving Bhagavat Katha, studying from Bhagavatam, and he was reading this story. And then this point came of this same question. So somebody asked him that how do you say that our love for our body is more than anything else? We love our children, we love our property more than anything else. People started saying that my wife loves me so much and my parents love me so much. So there was one boy who was asking this question. So he said, okay, I will demonstrate this to you. He said, you come tomorrow morning, then I will tell you what to do. So the boy came. So boy means he was a young man, and in the village they get married early, not like these days in the cities. So he was married, he was maybe around 20-year-old, has a young wife, parents. So the sadhu in the temple, he said that now you go home and then you act as if you have a stomach ache or you have a heart pain, and then you faint. And then act as if you are dead. And before you do that, you go to the local village. There was an Ayurvedic doctor, because there was no modern medicine in those days. He says you give him these 10 rupees and tell him that if your parents call him, then he should come check your pulse and tell him that you are dead. Just do this much. So he says, what is this? He said, just do it and then I will show you who loves you how much. So he went to the Ayurvedic doctor, he gave him 10 rupees. 10 rupees is a big deal in the villages in those days. And he says, please, when my parents call you, then all you have to do is you come and I will be lying on flat on the bed. You check my pulse and declare I am dead. So he said, okay, I am getting 10 rupees, what's my problem? Right? Money makes the mayor go. Everything runs on money. So he came home, he had his breakfast, and then he started complaining that I am having pain. Started making big drama and says, I have a big pain, and he was tossing and turning and rolling on the ground and crying. And finally he fainted. So all the family members, the parents and brothers and sisters and wife, everybody gathered and they are trying to, do something. So then the brother ran to the doctor, Ayurvedic Vaidya. Please run, my brother is in trouble. He came running with his Trifla Chona, So one medicine for all problems, right? So he came when he saw that this guy is lying and there's faint, there's foam coming out of his mouth. And he checked and he said, well, there is nothing left in him, he is dead. So then everybody started crying, the parents and wife and everybody is crying. And so then he says, well, maybe you should call the temple priest. He can do some mantra chanting, something, maybe he can revive. But I cannot help because at least he has to take medicine, but if he's lying like this, there is nothing I can do. So then they ran, and of course that sadhu already knew that they will be coming to call me. So he was all set there with his stick and kamandalu. So he came and he saw this and he went around, touched his head, checked his pulse, twisted his ears, did something. And he said, well, he's dead. So he says, anything you can do? He says, yeah, there is one thing you can do, that if anybody wants to exchange their life with him, then I can revive him. That art I know. If anybody volunteers to give his or her life, then I will bring him to life. And that person will die. So now everybody is looking at each other's face. So he asked the wife that maybe he is your husband, you love him so much, you want to do that. So he says, no, how is that? I am pregnant and I am going to have a baby, I don't want to, this is not good. She made an excuse. And then he asked the brother, the sister, the parents. So everybody gave some excuse, nobody accepted the deal. So he says, all right, if nobody wants to do it, then I am the only one who is left. He was my student, my very dear student, and I don't mind giving up my life. And he comes back to life, and I will say, yes, that will be very good anyway. You don't you don't have a family. So there is no problem. You are a renounced sadhu, and we'll find another pujari, another priest for the temple. So he says, okay, I will do that. I'm a renounced person, I have no attachment, and if this helps you, he is a young man and I don't want that you lose your son and she becomes a widow. So then he threw some water from his kamandalu and he chanted some mantra and he says, Ramdas, get up. Ramdas, get up. Of course, Ramdas was not gone somewhere. So he stood up, opened his eyes and he says, okay, now you are alive and I have given you my life, you should come with me. I'll make you in charge of the temple. And you saw how many people love you. So he understood and he walked away with him. He said, bye-bye to all of you. He is the one who gave his life to me. And none of you are ready to do that, so why shall I live with you? So that is the verse which says, Tasmat priyatama svatma sarvesham api dehinam tadarthameva sakalam jagat etat characharam. So this is a practical thing. It is not just some esoteric philosophy. You can do it yourself, this experiment, if you like. So now he comes to the real answer, and this is actually the what you call the acme or the top verse of this chapter. Basically, this is the essence, this is the juice. So he says, Krishna menam avehitvam atmanam akhilatmanam Jagadhitaya sopyatra dehi vabhati maya. So Sri Shukdev said that you should know that Krishna is Krishnam enam avehi tvam. You should know that this Krishna, he is the Akhil Atmanam Atma. Atmanam Akhil Atmanam. That he is the Atma of Atma. So we studied that the love for body is also not because body is dear to us, but because there is a soul in the body. If the soul is not there in the body, nobody likes the body. So although body is very dear to us, but body is dear because of the presence of Atma, the soul in it. But the soul of the soul, the Atma of Atma is Krishna. And therefore Krishna is more dear than one's own Atma. And that's why he is called Krishna. Krishir bhuvachko sabda nasya nivritti vachka. Tayorakyam param brahma Krishna iti vidhiyate. So Krishna is made from these two words, Krish and Na. So Krish means bhuvachak. Bhu means bhusattayam, you know now. Bhusattayam dhatu bhuadigan. So satta means existence. So Krish means existence. And Na means Ananda. Nasya nirvritti. Nirvritti means Ananda, bliss. So therefore the word Krishna means the very source of existence and the very source of bliss. And that's what he is called Krishna, the Param Brahma. Because Brahman, Param Brahman is Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam. So Satchid Ananda Vigraha, that is Krishna. That is the very meaning of Krishna. And our attraction is only for that. We want existence like that. There's a survival is the basic drive. Everybody wants to survive. The basic thing is we want to survive. But why do we want to survive? Why do we want to live? Because we want happiness. Living is not a goal in itself. It's not that we want to live, that's all. We want to live happily. So happiness is the purpose of life. Otherwise nobody wants to live. If you are not happy, then you don't want to live. And happiness and existence, that is coming from Krishna. So therefore he is the supreme object of love. There is nothing higher than that. And that is what was depicted in this whole story of Brahma Mohan Leela. That was what was demonstrated. This fact was demonstrated by this pastime of Brahma stealing the calves and cowherd boys. So this is to be understood. Otherwise people will say, well, why shall I believe in God? No, you believe or not believe, you believe in happiness or not? Even if you say, no, I don't believe in God, you will not say that I don't believe in happiness. There is nobody who will say, I don't want happiness. It doesn't matter who you are and what is your belief in, God, not God, this God, that God. You belong to this culture, this gender, that gender. Now there are some 55 genders are there. So it doesn't matter. What you want is happiness. So if you want happiness, then it means you want God. Because without God there is no happiness. That is for sure. Nobody is happy without God. You cannot bring one person to me who can say that I am happy without God. So if we are looking for happiness, it means we are looking for God. Because the very meaning, the very word for God, at least in Sanskrit, is Krishna, which means happiness personified. Krishna is not his Indian God, his Hindu God and this. Krishna is happiness personified. That's what the word means. And that's what the person is. He is the person, he is like If you can give a form to happiness, happiness is an emotion and does not have a form. But the spiritual happiness can have a form. So if you will give a form, just like painters, they paint and they depict emotions with colors. So that means emotions are depicted visually. So similarly, if happiness has to take a form, that form will be the form of Krishna. Not it has to take form, it is already there. So therefore it is called Satchidananda Vigraha. So Vigraha means, Graha means to grasp. So that is Visheshena, Grinati. Means Satchidananda are specifically contained in it. That is the Vigraha. So if that is the case, then we are naturally attracted to. Therefore Krishna also means Karshati, which attracts. Krish Vilaikane Dhatu, Krish Akarshane Dhatu. So what are we attracted to? We are attracted to happiness. And happiness is non-different from love. There is no other happiness. You can have money, you can have good health, you can have possessions. If there is no love, you are miserable. So Krishna is also called Prema. Prema Rupa, Prema Maya, Prema Vigraha. So he is also the personified love. And that is the source of our Atma. So just like any part has a natural attraction to the whole, the water has a natural attraction to the ocean. All water moves to the ocean. The fire moves up to the sun, because sun is the source of all fire. Any earthly object comes down to the earth, right? Throw it up, it comes down. So therefore Atma is also going towards God, but when we are in avidya, we search that happiness in the material objects. That's the problem. Everybody is looking for Sat, everybody is looking for Chit, and everybody is looking for Ananda. Everybody wants to live, survive at any cost. That's why we said Jireti Asa Baliyasi. Right? That even if body becomes old and decrepit and still you want to live, no matter how many pipes you can put in my body, cut it, this operation, that operation, put the tube in the nose, in the mouth, everywhere, still I want to live. So Jiryatepi Dehasmin, Jivit Asha Baliyasi. So this desire to live, that is the Sat. And Chit, we all want knowledge. And Ananda, everybody wants happiness. So we are all looking for that, but when we do not understand where to get it, then we look in the wrong place. That's the mistake. Then we get into trouble. So that's what is being described here. Krishna menam avehitvam atmanam akhilatmanam. That know this to be the akhilatma. And jagadhitaya sopiyatra dehi vabhati maya. And it is only for the benefit of the world that he comes and appears like a mortal being or human being or one who has body. Dehi eva abhati. By his maya, by his compassion, by his grace, he does that. So therefore this sloka explains why the love was more in Krishna. And this is what it means prema, this is what it means Vraj Bhav, Vraj Prema. So that your happiness is dependent on the happiness of Krishna. So Triptau Anyajanasya Tripti Mahita Dukkhe Maha Dukkhita Labdhe Sviya Nicha Dukhali Sukha Nichai No Harsa Badhodaya Sveshtaradhan Tatpara Yatha Sri Vaishnav Srinaya Kasta Bruhi Vichare Chandra Badane taima madvayasya. So this sloka says that triptau anyajanasya tripti maita, that the happiness is when Krishna is happy, when devotees are happy. And dukkhe mahadukhita, if he is unhappy, then we are more unhappy. And labdhe sviya dukhali sukhaniche, no harsa badhodaya. If the happiness is my own happiness, I am not happy. If suffering is my own suffering, I am not suffering. So yatha Sri Vaishnava, Srinaya. These are the Vaishnavas of Vrindavan. This is what is called Manjari Bhav. So it says Svestaradhan Tatpara, they are engaged in the service of their Ishta, the Vaishnavas of Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, that's how they were. So they are the pramana. They are the standard. And then Kasta Bruhi Vichara Chandrabadani Taya Iha Madvayasya Ima. So this is natural bhakti. That's how bhakti manifests, or that's how the bhakti appears. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Vivakshitam Siddhantam Pratipadins Tattva Drishtya Tasyapi Atmana Apekshika Priti Vishyatvam Eva Atyantik Priti Vishyatvam Kevalam Krishna Seva Tyaha Krishnamiti. So Vivakshitam Siddhantam Pratipaden, to establish the conclusion, the principle which he wanted to speak. So for that he spoke about one's own self first. Tattva drishtya tasyapi atmana apekshika priti vishyatvam eva. So from tattva drishti, from the proper understanding of truth, the love for one's own self is also relative. Just like the love for body is relative. Relative means the love for body is there because the Atma, the soul, is there in the body. If the soul is not there, then there is no love for the body. Nobody loves a dead body. So that means the love is for the Atma. And then related to that, there is love for the body. And then because there is love for body, then there is love for things which we consider belonging to the body. Parents, wife, children, husband, lovers, or other possessions, whatever it may be. So the love for Atma is also relative, because it is also not independent. So this is because it is related to Krishna. Mamai vanso jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. Because the Atma is Amsha, the part of Paramatma, therefore there is love for that. So it is also apekshika. It also has its expectancy, and that is Paramatma. So therefore he says that Krishna is Paramatma, he is the Atma of Atma. So Atyantika Priti Vishyatvam Kevalam Krishnasya eva tya. So the ultimate object of love, this picture is not there. What happened? So Atyantik Priti Vishyatvam Kevalam Krishnasya eva. So Atyantik means the ultimate. Ultimate means the absolute, means not dependent on anything else, not dependent on any other condition. So that is the love for Krishna. That pure love, unconditional love is possible only for Krishna. So therefore in the material world there is no unconditional love. People may say it, and there is no pure love in the material world. It's all conditional. It's apekshika. Although it sounds bad to say it and to hear it, but that is the truth. We are trying to understand what actually is true love. So this is a fact. It's a bitter truth. Sounds very harsh to the ears, but this is a fact. It's undeniable fact. Nobody can disprove it. It's not possible to disprove it. So therefore he says Atyantika Priti Vishyatvam Kevalam Krishnasya eva. Only Krishna. Eva. Not anyone else. So Krishna miti. Akhilanam Atmanam Jivanam api Atmanam. Because he is the Atma of all Atmas, not of India's Atmas. Not that Krishna is Hindu God, therefore he is Atma, he is soul of Indians. No, it's not like that. Akhil Atma. All. Because Atma is neither Indian nor American nor Brazilian or any other country. Atma is Atma. It belongs to God. It has nothing to do with any particular land. It's beyond all these material considerations. So Jivanam api Atmanam Paramatmanam. So therefore he is the Paramatma, he is the supreme Atma. He is the supreme immanent being, supreme source. As Krishna says that Aham sarvasya prabhu matta sarvam pravartate. I am the source of everything. So everything runs on me. Sutre mani ganaiva. Sarvam maidam protam. Everything subsists on him. So this material world is not running without God. People may not believe or may not accept. That does not change the reality. Reality is not dependent on my belief. Doesn't care for that. So Krishna Mavehi, know that to be Krishna. So now you understand why he is called Krishna. Because this meaning is very important. The meaning of the word Krishna. That itself explains why is he called Krishna. So tena putradishu pritir yatha dehanurodhena dehecha pritir yatha atmanurodhena tathaiv atmani api priti paramatmanurodhena. So now he says that just as the love for children, wife, husband, lover, this, that, it is only because of the body. Means they are related to you. To you means to your body, not to your Atma. So it's all because of the body. So something which is related to your body, then there is some priti, some love in that. If somebody is from your country, you have natural affinity for that. Somebody comes from your town, then you are more attractive. Somebody comes from your street, then more. Somebody comes from your own house, then more, right? So therefore he says Dehanurodhena. So that is the farthest thing. Something completely external to you. At least your body is going with you, your Atma and body going together as one unit. But all the children, wife and other material objects which we seem to own or we have some identification with them, they are outside. They are very much removed. It's not that your body moves, then your wife also moves, or your car also moves, or your country. No, that's all in the mind, that they belong to me. That's all. If you cut that from your mind, then there is nothing which can prove it that it is yours. So therefore, he says, and then why do we have love for body? He says, Dehecha priti yatha atmanurodhena. So the love for body is because of the Atma, because of the soul. Without Atma, body has no meaning. Just like without body, none of these relatives have any meaning. A person dies, then he goes somewhere, may become a ghost. Then he has another life. He is not then having any love for this. And he is having his own life, or he takes another birth or goes somewhere, forgets this. Because that body is gone. So similarly, the priti, the love for the body is because of Atma in it, because of the self. So as long as the self is present, the body, we have love for it. Now, what about love for Atma? He says, Tathaiva Atmani api priti Paramatma Anurodhena. So this is something which now you have to extrapolate. These first two things you can understand, that we like objects because of their relationship with body. We like body because of its relationship with Atma. My this body is related to my Atma, so I like this. Other bodies are not related to Atma directly, so their relationship is indirect through the body, not directly with the Atma. So therefore the intensity is less. But in the same way now we can understand that there are so many people, so there has to be one personality who has to control or regulate all this. Right? If you have any organization, any company, any office, any factory, industry, anything, then there has to be somebody on top who actually feels that it is his or her, and they are the one who make the plan and keep the whole thing together. Other people come and they have their own motive, they basically want salary and they go, But somebody is on top who is looking after the complete system, and that person only knows what he or she is trying to do. So similarly, this world is there, what we call as universe. It is one universe, one unit. So there has to be one person to regulate it. So that is Paramatma. So it's like there are so many individual beings, then there is a supreme individual who is linked to everybody. And it is because of that Atma has its sense, meaning, or the love is there for Atma because of its relationship with that Paramatma. It's like if you are part of a company, and because ultimately you are related to that person who is founder or who is regulator of the organization, they have meaning. If your relationship is cut with that person, you are out of that system. So your value is as long as you are linked. So there you are indirectly linked, because that's the only way it is possible. Here God is linked to everybody directly because He has the power to do that. He is capable of doing that. He can reciprocate with each one. For human beings in a company or organization, that is not possible. They are not having that much power. So therefore He says Paramatma Anurodhena. And this Paramatma has its completeness in Krishna. So now going beyond Paramatma, that is Bhagavan. That is Krishna. So that's what was also shown to Brahma, that how he manifested so many Paramatmas. Each boy, each calf turned into one Paramatma. So therefore he is the complete one. Such a Paramatma Krishna eva Murtaha Purna eva. So Paramatma is not seen because Paramatma is supposed to be inside, all pervading, right? Chaturbhuja, Kechit Swahridaya Akasha. So that the complete manifestation of Paramatma and in personal form, that is Krishna. So therefore the supreme love manifests only for him. To other forms of Paramatma also there can be love because they are related with Atma, but it will not be as much as it is possible for Krishna. So that is the ultimate limit. So that's why Bhāgavatam says Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So people of other sampradaya, they raise objection to that and they think this is Gaudiya's imagination and they are trying to degrade Narayana. It's not like that. When you understand Bhāgavatam truly, then you will know why it is said there, and you can interpret that verse in way to say that it is Narayana, but this is actually the meaning. This is what this 14th chapter is making this very clear, and that's why some of them don't want this chapter, because it's troublesome for their understanding. So that Paripurna, supreme, the ultimate, the original form is Krishna. Tena putradishu प्रीतिर्यथा सच परमात्मा कृष्ण एव मूर्त पूर्ण एव यदुक्तम विष्टभ्यहमिदं कृत्स्नम एकांशेन स्थितो जगत. So Krishna says this in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So bahuna ki metena. What is the point in explaining to you with so many details? You should know that just by one of my part, I pervade this whole world. Vishtabhyahamidam Krishnam ekamshena sthito jagat. So that ekamsha is Paramatma of this universe. So this is now our understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as Swam Bhagavan, they will not have this understanding. They will say, well, he's just saying that he is Paramatma and he is one Amsa like that. But when you know that he is Swam Bhagavan, then this is the true meaning of this verse. It's like in the 15th chapter he says, Vedaischa sarvairahameva vedya. So we have understanding that it is only Swam Bhagavan Krishna who is to be known. They will have their understanding if you don't accept that. So from their point of view it's right, but ultimate understanding comes when you know Krishna as Swam Bhagavan. Then you go to the real meaning of these slokas. So Krishna seva atyantik priti vishyatvat tatraiva pritehe parakashta. So because Krishna is the ultimate object of love, therefore love finds its supreme manifestation only in him. Parakashta means the ultimate limit, not in anyone else. Iti swaputrebhyo api tatra yat premadhikyam taduppadita. Therefore, the Vrajvasis, they had more love for Krishna than their own children and cows and wealth, position, whatever, family members. So this is what has been established. So this is the reply to Parikshit Maharaj's question. Kincha jivanam bhakti abhavat maya jnanavarnacha bhaktiyeka prakashe tasmin tadrishatvena anubhavo maik jiva nama bhakta nam katham astu itya अतः पुत्रादिषु एव लोकानां प्रीति विषयत्वेन अनुभवो न तस्मिन्. So now he speaks a little more on this. He says, moreover, the jivas of this material world, they do not have devotion or love for Krishna, bhakti abhavat, because their knowledge is covered by maya. Jnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantava. And therefore they are under ignorance or illusion. And for that reason, they do not have this experience. The experience which Vraja residents had towards Krishna, they do not, common people do not have it. So he is explaining why they do not have it. Because he can be known only through bhakti. Bhaktyaham ekyagrahiya. So without bhakti it is not possible to have that realization. So bhakti eka prakashe tasmin tadrishatvena anubhavo maik jiva nama bhakta nam katham asti. So therefore the conditioned beings of this material world, being devoid of bhakti, they do not have this type of experience as the residents of Braja had. Says it is not possible. So then what happens? Everybody wants that experience of love. That is everybody's search. Everybody is searching for love. So when they cannot have love for Krishna because of their conditioning, because of their ignorance, so then what do? Then the search for love here in the material relations. So therefore he says, Atah putradishu eva lokanam priti vishatvena anubhavo na tasmin. So therefore they become attached to their children, wife, husband, family members, relatives. Some people become attached to wealth, some power, because they see this is all ultimately manifestation of Krishna only. But through Maya, through the potency of Maya. So this is indirectly loving Krishna, not directly. So materialistic people are also loving. If they are loving power, position, wife, children, this, that, ultimately it is also for Krishna. But in ignorance and to his material potency, through his material potency, and not to him. So then they cannot love him because they do not have that. And in case of Brajvasis, it says Brajvasi nam tu mayatitatvat bhakti purnatvat cha yathartha evan bhava. But the residents of Vraja, they are beyond Maya. They are free from ignorance, free from conditioning, and they have complete devotion, complete love for Krishna. So therefore they have the real experience of him. Their relationship, their experience with Krishna is direct. Iti atas tesham स्वपुत्रादिभ्योपि तस्मिन् प्रेमाधिक्यम स्वाभाविकम वर्तते एव इति समाधि. Therefore their love for Krishna is more than their love for their own family members, and this is natural for them. It is not that they have been trained to think like that, or they have attended some classes and then they are saying, I want this, oh, I want this. No, it's natural for them. Here now people hear and then say, I want Manjari Bhav, I want this, Braj Prema, I want this. So this is because they have heard it. They may not even understand what they want, But they have heard it so many times, so they start saying. If they come to realize what it is, they probably will say, no, I don't want it. They only see one side of it. They see the nice side explained, but the type of sacrifice one has to do, that they don't hear. So for Brajvasis it is Swabhavik. Swabhavik means that their personality, their existence is like that only. Just like for materialistic people here in the material world, it is natural to like their body. Without any training, you don't need classes that you should love your body or you should take care of your body. Right? Just natural. You are born with it. So Brajvasis are born like that, to love Krishna. As we naturally love our own body, they naturally love Krishna like that, more than anything else. Just like we love our own body more than anything else, so they love Krishna naturally more than anything else. Ya pritira vivekanam vishesho anupayani. That's what Prahlad is saying, that these aviveki people, they have the priti for Vishya, sense objects, which is non-stop. So like that their priti is anapayani, unchanging, non-stop. So, Mayi sarvgu bhashe yatha ganga ambasambhudi, like the water of Ganga flowing. So madguna shruti matrene Mayi sarvgu bhashe. So mind naturally flows. The mind is naturally fixed on Krishna, non-stop, just natural. Just like our mind is not naturally fixed on Krishna. So the mind is naturally fixed on that. So madguna shruti matrena Mayi sarva guhasaya. Manogatir avichinna. Their manogati, their movement of their mind naturally goes towards Krishna without any break. So like the river Ganga is flowing, there is no break in it. It's not that Ganga starts from there, then halfway, then for a few kilometers there is no Ganga, and then you find it again, nothing like that. Or it's breaking. So like our thought process, sometimes we think of Krishna, sometimes something else, then we may think again because we are doing sadhana. So there is continuous, tail dharavat, like the flow of oil. So that is how Brajvasis are. So that is what it says, Swabhavikam vartate veti samadhi. Jagadhitaya avtirnaha sa Krishnopi maya dehiva abhati. So that Krishna, he has appeared here in the world for our benefit. And he appears like as if he is also another person like us. Because if he does not come here, we will never know what is love. If Krishna does not appear here on earth, how will you know what is love? We will have our own definition, which is love for my own body. That's what we call it. So selfishness. So we'll only keep on mistaking our selfishness for love. Swavidya mudhair jiva iva bhautik dehavan pratiyate ityartha. So dehi iva abhati mayaya. By maya he appears like a materialistic person. So that is for the materialistic people. Mudhair jiva iva. Those who are foolish because of avidya, because of ignorance. So for them he appears as if he also has material body. So even Advaitvadis think like that. Then more meaning, yadva maya eva yo deha tadvan mayopadhiriva pratiyate netu so mayopadhi. So maya dehi eva. Another meaning is that he appears like that, as if he has a body made of maya, but he is not having a body of Maya. So his body is not Maya Upadhi, but Maya Upadhir iva pratiyate. Ateva Madhusudan Saraswati Padairapi Satchit Sukhaek Vapushay Purushottamasya Narayanasya Mahimanahi Manameti. So Madhusudan Saraswati was a great Advaitavadi who wrote Advait Siddhi, also wrote commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, some parts of Bhāgavatam also he commented, wrote Bhakti Rasayana. So although an Advaitvadi, very staunch Advaitvadi, he says that Satchit Sukhaeka Vapusha, that his body is Satchit Sukha Eka, pure Satchit and Ananda. Purushottamasya Narayanasya Mahimanahi Maname. So is Purushottama, Narayana, and his Mahima we cannot understand. His glory is beyond our comprehension. And Chidananda Akaram Jaldaru Ruchisaram Shruti Giram Vrajastrinam Haram. So his body Chidananda, conscious and bliss. His bodily who is like the cloud, and Shruti Gram Vajastrinam Haram. So he is the sound of the Vedas, like the necklace of the Vrajastris. Ityadi Bahusha Varnitam.
Here he gives these two things, Swa Avidya Moodhair Jiva Iva Bhautik Dehvan Pratiyata. This is one thing he said, those who think he is made of Bhautik Deh. And second thing he is saying that Maya eva yadva Maya eva yo dehas tadvaniva Maya upadhiriva pratiyate. What is the difference between these
First
two?
is that this moodhas by Maya means avidya. The foolish people, because of avidya, they think that he has a bhautik body. The other is that they think that his body is a Maya Upadhi, Maya. So one is applied to the jivas, that they are ignorant. Because of ignorance they think like this. Another is that they think that his body is by Maya.
So what is the difference between the two? Ultimately it is the same thing.
It is not the same thing. The Advaitvadis think like that. The second one is for Advaitvadis. And the first one is for normal people. The second people don't know what Upadhi and all this means. I mean the first
one.
Yeah.
But ultimately the conclusion is the same.
Conclusion is same, but there are two categories of people he is showing. I mean, one sloka line he is giving different interpretation. One applies to common people, another applies to Advaitvadis. Then he is going to apply the same thing to devotees, give another meaning. And Maya means grace.
So this Maya Upadhiriva Pratiyate, ultimately they also think that he is made up of Maya or Bhautik Deh only, right? Ultimately it means that only. And just by their so-called knowledge, Gyan Manina, they are thinking like that.
Yeah. So Yadva Nanu Paramatma. So now he gives more explanation. I think we'll stop here. It's already time because more is remaining. Any question on this?
Babaji?
Yeah.
Babaji?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. So I'm slightly struggling to understand how the Rajavasis have a natural love for Krishna as the Atma. So the conflict in my mind is like the love for my body. Body is a object. It is not a person. It is just an object. And whenever, let's say, I eat food or there is some sensual stimulation, I immediately get a feedback of happiness. Okay, the body is satisfied. Or if there is some pain, if my hand on the fire, I get burnt. Immediately there's a feedback. So I'm not really understand. So and I'm struggling to understand how this happens. How do they? Because Krishna sometimes leaves Vrindavan. So like they don't get any feedback. How does how is it how does the love? I mean, I'm just struggling to understand the difference. Here I get instant feedback. There it's a person. So how do I understand these two things? There's a difference.
Because you are thinking Dehi Maya. You are thinking that he is also his body, and the Vrajvasis are also like that. So they are gunatit. They are not. They don't have material bodies. So they are linked. So now you imagine that you have your body, and then you have, suppose, your son or somebody, and your somehow your own sensory perception is linked to what is happening to his body. And when he eats and when he feels happy, you feel it, and you feel happy by that.
Okay.
So when he feels miserable, you also feel miserable. Like sometimes it happens when two people are very intimate, mother and child. So child is sick or having problem, then mother feels it. How she is feeling? I mean, this is in the material world. Now you think how it will be in the spiritual world, where their bodies are spiritual. They look like body. That's why it says Dehi iva abhati. It appears like that. They are linked. So even in their separation, they are linked. So this is a little difficult concept, but it happens. I mean, if you can think that here, even in the material world, if there is very much intimacy between two people, then they can sense their feelings and mood, and their mood can change by the mood of the other person. So how it would be there? It will be completely 100% like that. Any other question?
Babaji Maharaj, this linking which you mentioned, so is it by the mind, like in the material world?
No, it is not by the mind. They are all internal Shakti, Antaranga Shakti. So by love, by bhakti, by prema. Prema is the link. Sabse uchi prem sagai, you have heard that song?
Yes.
What does it mean?
That love is the highest of all kind of
relation. Sagai means relation. So sabse uchi prem sagai means that prema is the highest relation. Because here in the material world also your relation is only in the mind. That's what I am saying. And there, here it is all material. So therefore it changes. Today you love somebody, tomorrow you hate that person. So there the love is not material, it's spiritual. It's permanent and it's always increasing there. So that is the relation.
So one more thing was coming
It's
to
like
mind, Babaji, that
it's like you these days you have instruments which are controlled by remote. So you are actually linked, although there is nothing external. There is no wire going on between here and that computer, but I can control it from here. So prema is like that. It is a link.
So another thing was that although theoretically like very nice classes, last 3 classes are very nice. So theoretically we can understand what is this thing, to get a practical experience of this. So whatever has been told to us, we keep following, even if we are not feeling like or मतलब जबरदस्ती करते रहें.
गले पड़ जाओ गले. ये सुना आपने हिंदी में? हिंदी में सुना है कि यार वो तो मेरे गले ही पड़ गया. सुना है? So in Hindi we say gale padna. Gale padna means like to hang on to somebody's neck, Literally it means hang on to somebody's neck. So just hang on to Krishna's neck. Don't leave him. Whether you like or he likes or doesn't like, just pakad lo. Hold on. Don't leave. Then finished. Just give up everything. इसको बोलते हैं पीछे पड़ जाओ. हाथ धो के पीछे पड़ना. And these are Hindi phrases. Means you are after somebody like crazy, you know. So you don't leave. No matter what you do, I'm not going to leave you. So like that. Then what Krishna will do? He cannot leave you after that. Samasritaya padapallav plavam murare. This sloka is coming. So that's what we have to do. Must pakad lo, grasp. Grasp and clasp. And don't leave. Finished, all problems solved. You know.
There कोई experience हो ही जाएगा.
अरे हो ना हो, don't bother about that. Whether it will happen or not happen, just don't bother. You be fixed on your action. That I am not going to leave you. Whether I get Manjari Bhav, this Bhav, that Bhav, all that, I don't care. I am not bothered about this Manjari Bhav, this Bhav, that. I am not going to leave you. I am after you. You can kick me, you can throw me out, you can do whatever you want to do, but I am not going to leave you. I have come to you and I am here to stay. You like it, you don't like it. You keep me, you kick me. That's it. So this is called Saranagati. This is called surrender. So once you do that, don't think that God is so hard-hearted that He is going to kick you away. But you have to be sincerely doing it. And He is not going to test you. He doesn't need to test you. This, when we say He is testing me, He is doing, God is testing, this is a test. He doesn't need to test you. It is all because of our insincerity, problems come and we get shaken and then, so now God is testing me. What is this? He doesn't need tests. He knows you. If you are insincere, He knows you. Testing because I don't know you, so I try to test you, whether you are really what you are saying is true or not. But He is Paramatma. What is there for Him to test you? Before you think He knows. Now scientists are also saying it. That even before you take the decision, already the decision is made in the brain. They have done experiments like that. So they say this is what you say as free will, all this is misnomer. So God is even before that, you know. So don't think, people get scared, oh, if we worship Krishna, He will test us, He will take away this, He will take away that, He will do this. He also says that yasyam anugrinami harisya tadhanam. If He is doing that, is only to help you, so that you don't leave Him. Tato tajanti adhanam. Right? Sajana dukkha dukkhita. Then all the people who are attached to you, they leave you. Who are disturbance to you, they will leave you. That's why He is doing it. He is helping you to hold on to Him, you know. When people get scared, He is going to take away my wealth. Okay, take away the wealth. What is the problem? You know, I didn't bring it when I was born. Did I bring anything when I came? No. So if He gave me, He take it. When He gave me, I did not say thank you to Him. And He takes, then I say, why God is doing this to me? I am doing bhajan, I am doing this. Why God is not reciprocating? I was talking to yesterday somebody, he was having a list of complaints. List of complaint. I said, so what's your problem? Tell me. Then he said, this is not a problem. Problem is all in the mind. So we make up the problem. So if I am hanging on to Krishna, where is the problem? I don't want to see it as a problem. I want to see it as a grace. Tatte anukampamsu samikshamana. So then what will happen? Then you go on giving me problem. For me it is grace. So you'll get tired after some time. This guy is taking this also as grace. There is no problem. Just hold on. Sthane sthita. Even if you keep standing, still you are moving because earth is moving. You cannot stay without moving. So samasritaya padapallava plavam murari. That is the boat. So you will be happy. Otherwise mind goes on concocting problems. That's all mind is doing. Mind creates problems. Atma hi atmano bandhu, atma ripur atman. This is the ripu enemy sitting right here. Any other question? Problem solved?
Yep. For me, the school of thought in Vaishnavism, in some school like the Ballavacharya or the Madhavacharya, if they're not accepting these three chapters, so it's for me it's looks like the means very poor logic. Means not accepting. Why? Because it's not fitting for your thought. And
so what do you want to say?
Yeah, my problem of understanding that these acharyas established their school, and it's based on the scriptures, and it's not their this concept or understanding is not on the only materialistic concept, means materialistic understanding. So for me, like neophyte on the spiritual path, how can understand what their means, who is, how these people are, these great purusas are controlled?
Are
controlled by whom?
Controlled by whom means what?
Means it is a planning of the supreme, these different schools, or
that is up to you how you take it. If you take it supreme, then it is their supreme's plan. If you don't take it, then it is their plan. It's up to you how you want to see it.
Babaji, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Yes.
So I was thinking about the article you wrote recently on happiness, the drive for happiness in the Atma. And I'm trying to relate what we learned today to that. So there you explained that the Atma identifies with the body and the body's relations. Basically, it puts itself in them. And then it basically loves itself in those bodies and relations. And the idea there is that the Atma's Swarupa is what it wants to be in. It wants to be situated in itself. And that's why this drive to love. So if it identifies with something else as being itself, then it wants to be in that. And it's attached to that, or it wants to attain that. And then you explain that the reason it wants to do so, Tadaprashtu Swarupe Avasthanam, is that it's in its Swarupa, it is devoid of misery. Dukkhapati yogitva. As such, that's its preferred state. And so that's why Patanjali says Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So when all the Chitta Vrittis are gone, then the Atma is in its Swarupa and it is in its state and it's happy. So this was the reasoning you gave in that article, and that's why it's also called Priti Aspada. today you explained that Paramatma is the Atma of the Atma, and that's why the Atma is desirable. So is there a reconciliation between?
So you have heard this saying that there are
are they same or
you have
are
heard
they related or?
you heard this saying there are different slokas for different folks. Have you heard
Sorry,
this?
Babaji, I didn't catch.
There are
Can you say that again?
different slokas for different folks.
Oh, okay.
So that's one audience I am speaking there, and that is not wrong what I have written there. And now there is the different audience here, so I tell you more. I mean, not I am telling, this is Bhāgavatam saying. So this is higher than that. That's for general public. And this is for Bhagavat Bhaktas.
Okay. Thank you, Babaji.
Okay.